Hey guys, Chart Stoppers back with another video. In this channel we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their charts. It's important to know these areas before buying any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy or sell. Also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options, you're definitely going to want to get familiar with support and resistance. Just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on the charts which do impact the price action of a stock. I also provided a link in the description for Webull. You could use it to start an account and get 2 free stocks. I also provided a link for Robinhood. You could use that to start an account and get 1 free stock. Just to let you know, we will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks, so if you have a recommendation, leave a comment below and I'll try to get to your recommendation. Okay, let's get into the market today. Today is April 9th, 2021. It is Friday, the last day of the trading week. And today the Dow is up 0.24%. The S&P 500 is up 0.21%. And the NASDAQ is up just a little bit at 0.03% at the current time. You could see everything is green today. Not really a crazy day, but it is a green day. Kind of rare to have a green Friday, but we'll take it. So actually today is a viewer recommendation that a viewer wanted me to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna do Match.com, ticker symbol MTCH. It's currently trading at $142.54. It's down $3.01 on the day, and that would be 2.07% on the day. You could see here I'm on the daily chart for Match.com. Their market cap is $38.92 billion. Their PE ratio is 290.697. And their 52-week high is $174.68. And let me zoom in here for you. And they hit their 52-week high on February 11th of this year. And you could see that was right before the correction. And they've been on a little bit of a downtrend ever since. Now looking at our daily chart here, you could see that this thing has been on a pretty nice uptrend ever since COVID hit. Okay, you could see right here, since this day right here, which was about a year ago on March 20th, 2020 is when it hit the low. Actually, this was, let me zoom in here for you. And you could see March 23rd of 2020, it hit a low of $44.74. And that was during COVID, when everybody was panic selling because nobody knew what was happening with the stock market, and nobody knew what was the future with the pandemic and everything. So everyone was selling off their stocks, and you saw every chart looks exactly the same. You see this huge dip right here in every chart, every stock's chart. Because everyone panic sold their stocks, okay? And then you see this huge V-shaped recovery right after. And this one is no different, and this one's actually a lot more accented right here because you see a huge recovery in this stock. This is like almost straight up. Look at the growth you could have had here. It went from $44 all the way up to $174 in less than a year. Okay, so that we're talking a lot of growth if you were invested in this. You know, if you would have bought down here, you would have made a lot of money in less than a year, you know, up to this point. So looking at our chart here, you could see, let me zoom in for you, and we'll look at our first resistance point after COVID. We saw our first resistance was around $90. You could see that here. Even before COVID. Let me move my line down here for you so I could get it closer to $90. And you could see even before COVID, it had a little trouble trying to get over that $90 mark. And it did dip down when COVID happened. Okay. So you could even see as I zoom out back here, even, you know, way before COVID last in 2019 during the summer, it had trouble breaking this $90 mark right here. So you saw that's our first resistance coming out of COVID, and it ended up breaking through that, coming to $100, and that was the next point of resistance that we saw. But it ended up breaking through that on a good earnings report right here in August of 2020, and we saw a big jump in price here from about $100, a little bit over $100, all the way up to $120 after this earnings report. So they had great earnings right there. And then you just saw a big rise in price. You know, this whole time right here was just a huge steady incline in price. You saw it break through this next resistance of 120. It had no problem there. And then it just kept climbing. Another good earnings report right here in November of 2020. You saw it jump up to our next resistance point of 130. And it just kept climbing after that. Okay, so you saw it keep going up to our next resistance, which was 145. I have that marked at, okay? And you just saw it keep breaking through these resistance points. You know, nothing was holding this stock, and it just kept climbing till it hit this 174.68 mark, okay? So we're going to call that 170 right there because it only hit it once. And you could see it tried to come back up and test it again on this day right here, which was the 16th. And it couldn't really break through the 170 mark. So you could see right there, 170 will be our point of resistance for this to make a new all-time high. If it does break through 170, it will be looking good on our chart to make a new all-time high. But you could see it got held back there after it hit that all-time high, and then it started this little decline that it's been on right here, which I have marked down in our red line right here. So it's been on this small downtrend. You could see right here, this green line is our uptrend that it's been on since COVID happened, and it's been following this 200-day moving average pretty closely here. So you could see that marked down in the yellow line right here, the yellowish orangish line. That is our 200-day moving average. The blue line right here is our 50-day moving average. So right now it's kind of trading in between our 200-day moving average and our 50-day moving average, you could see. So after we hit our all-time high here, you saw a pretty nice decline and a pretty nice downtrend happening, okay? So we lost our first support here, which was at 145, and it kept falling in price, but not as bad as a lot of other stocks that we've seen fall in price, okay? It really didn't fall that hard. It did fall all the way down to a low on March 30th, which was about a week and a half ago. You saw it hit a low on that day of $129.68, but it did quickly recover, and it did stay on our trend line right here. So you did see it briefly fall below our trend line, and then it did close above our trend line. So it did hold true to our trend line, and it's holding fine right there. So after it hit that low on that day, you see a little bit of a recovery right here after it bottomed out there, and it's back up towards our support line right here, which is now going to become our resistance at $145. And we're going to see it hold around there, and it's going to try to break through there. And that's exactly where our 21-day moving average is. You see this marked in the teal line right here. That's our 21-day moving average. So we're going to want to see it break through that first before we can see this thing move all the way up to our 50-day moving average. So what I'm looking for in this stock right here is, you could see these two trend lines are going to be crossing soon, and on my chart it looks like it's going to be at the end of this month when these two trend lines come together, which would be, it looks like on the 29th of April of this month. So we still have a couple weeks away. It looks like it might consolidate in this area. It could move up and down, you know, in between here a little bit until it gets to this point where it's either going to be make or break time. We've seen this on a couple other videos that I've done where the two trend lines have come together, and it either has to jump out of this downtrend or it's going to have to jump out of this uptrend. So it's either going to follow this red line and keep heading downward, or it's going to come out of this jump up from this red line and follow this green line upward, steadily rising. So we're going to see what this one does. It looks like it's going to consolidate in this area right here and kind of, maybe just trade sideways for a little bit, maybe a little bit downward until it gets to this point where it's going to have to do one of the two options right here. So just zooming out here and looking at our chart, I'm thinking, because this thing is almost going straight up, I mean, you do see this, steady growth from this stock. It came all the way back from, let's see, $6 when it first came out, which was in 2017, early 2017. It started out at a low of $6.41. And you've seen this thing come all the way up to $175 almost. So that's a big increase in price. Like, you would have made a lot of money on this thing if you would have bought this when it first came out. So we've seen a lot of growth in this company, and I think we're just gonna continue to see more growth. It is hitting a little bit of a stalling point right now in the stock. As you can see, this correction did do a little bit of a number on it. But I think it's going to continue on this uptrend. I don't think you're going to see maybe this huge growth that you've seen in the past year. But I do think it is going to break out of this little uptrend or this little downtrend right here and continue onto this green line. Okay, but maybe you're not going to see this the straight up and down movement. It might just move a little bit more slowly along this green line. So that's the way I would trade this. I would be looking at this line right here. I added this one. It's $159 right here, 160. That's our next point of resistance that we'd be looking at. You could see right here it's going to be sitting at our support line. So as you could see, I would wait for it to consolidate in this area right here. That would be in a couple weeks. And I would wait to see what it does, and you're probably going to see it consolidate in this area, maybe move down a little bit, and then it's probably going to break out to the upside, I would think, and maintain this green trend line and move up. And then once it does break through this resistance point of the 145, you're going to see probably our next move would be looking for it to break this 50-day moving average, which is currently at $150.54. So that's what I would be looking for in the next move to be after it does break out of this downtrend and break the $145 support. So then our next move would be up to the $160 next resistance point that I added right here. So that's the move that I would make next, and hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you don't miss any videos. And we'll see you next time on Chart Stoppers.